Hi, this is Jason McCarthy at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to Wycombe Sound.
The Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. 7 days on from transfer deadline day. This time last week we were thinking, will there be, won't there be? We didn't know.
There was.
But after the show, we didn't know. Throughout the whole show we didn't know. We had a feeling, but we didn't know.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Luke is with us as well. You were actually at the training ground.
It was very interesting to be behind the scenes on a transfer deadline day.
And we'll find out more about that this hour as well with, you. Also, we'll hear from Phil in a few moments' time as well, bringing us our match briefing. Also, we'll hear from the manager, among other things, paying tribute and showing the club's condolences to Adam Ankers, who I'm sure you've heard has sadly passed away this week as well, a member of the Wycombe Wanderers Foundation's team, and also season ticket holder at Adams Park as well, and all our thoughts obviously with Adam and his family as well, and we'll tell you a little bit more about some plans for him coming up very soon as well. Plus, we'll preview the visit of Peterborough this coming Saturday. We'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield again talking about that. It's in the same bit, to be honest. I've kind of done that as separate things, but no. Also included in our chat with the manager on what is today his 40th birthday. Very happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
He won't be listening to this though.
40 years old.
I know.
Doesn't look it, does he?
What a landmark!
No. Do you think it's going to be a bit like, when presidents or prime ministers and you look at them beforehand and afterwards and they've aged?
Quite possibly, yes. He does mention grey hairs actually. So that I think being the manager of any club probably would bring that on anyway.
Very true.
Also, as mentioned, Peterborough United coming to Adams Park this Saturday thanks to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association. We'll speak to a former striker. I say former as he's not long ago retired from football, and he played for both clubs, did rather well as well. Craig Mackail Smith, will hear from him. Another Craig will be on as well from Wycombe Wanderers Women, giving us a round.
Little Craig.
He's only small. Is he that small?
I'll explain later.
Okay, and so he'll be giving us a roundup of the women who are also in a cup competition and doing very well in that as well. That and more, if we can fit it in, including details of that Bradford game in the semi-final of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. Almost forgot the name of it for a second. But I was going to go Papa John's.
It's had so many.
It's not called that anymore. But first, let's catch up with Phil on what's been an interesting time. We had that one win in 17 League One games, of course, which felt like a bit like a winter. But now, moving into spring.
Yes, green shoots, as they say, don't they? Just popping up. Lots to look forward to. Hopefully, the cup semi-final in a few weeks, and we've got a staggering amount of games this month. And indeed, between now and the end of the season, to get it all done by the end of April. That win against Cheltenham and the win in the semi-final against Brighton under 21s. Hopefully could be the platform or the springboard, if you will, to kind of kick us on into a decent run again and move us up the table. No one wants to be sort of looking over their shoulders as the months roll on through spring. Hopefully we can propel ourselves up the table, and if we can have a really good week next week and that can hopefully give a bit of a cushion so we can really enjoy that cup semi-final. These are moments that don't come around too often, and it's a big opportunity to get to Wembley. But first and foremost, the league form is super important as well.
There seem to have been so many encouraging things to come from both those games, really, that should help really as a great sort of base to build on going forward for this part of the season now.
Yeah, I think that Cheltenham game was huge for many reasons, just in isolation and Wycombe's form and to get the win on the board. But also Cheltenham were a team who have started the season appallingly. Since the manager came in, Darryl Clark, their form has been sort of that of a mid-table side, really. He's done a fantastic job there, and it's put a bit of a buffer between the two clubs. We play them again at the end of the month as well, so I think there's quite a lot riding on those two games. So to win the first one was excellent. More than one goal up going into stoppage time. What with recent late goals going against us was nice as well. We talk about the word being clinical. There's no more better example than a clinical finish than Gareth McCleary's second goal for Wycombe on Saturday at Cheltenham. Again, Potsy as well from the penalty save as well. And it's that cutting edge that's maybe been costing Wycombe a bit in these fine margins going against us in the last sort of couple of months. So hopefully we could be looking forward to more of that. And more points on the board, let's see where we are at the end of the month.
I mean, to see G-Mac's goal especially, because you really got a thought of, oh yes, that's what he does, and it'd be great to sort of see more of that.
Absolutely, yeah. The class between Vokesy and GMAC in the build up to that goal, and it was absolutely rapid. I mean, let's not forget that GMAC isn't in his 20s, as you'd be mistaken. A lot of people would be mistaken for thinking he is. Certainly with the pace, this is a top pro who really looks after himself in the gym with what he eats, and he's a fantastic example for everybody. And to see him outpace a much younger defence, and then there's still a lot to do from the finish as well. It was a class finish. But also the layoff from Vokesy was top notch as well. So to see that from a Wycombe perspective on Saturday was a huge boost. And hopefully, as you say, we can see a bit more of that, hopefully starting on Saturday against Peterborough.
I mean, Peterborough's really set up for a great game, isn't it? Because I think it's always nice when the top teams come to town, especially. But as I say, they're in good form. Only lost comparatively recently, obviously, and they're a man down. But also, they're such a young side, aren't they? And Darren Ferguson, obviously, in his fourth spell there now as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I wasn't alone. I'm sure lots of Wycombe fans were joining me in sort of punching the air when I saw they went down to 10 men on a wet pitch, a long way from home, and to then surrender the lead and end up ultimately losing the game, and then having to sit on the coach all the way back to Peterborough afterwards on a Tuesday night whilst Wycombe were preparing the training ground and not having a game. Of course, Wycombe had the reverse of that, last week going into Cheltenham having a Wednesday night fixture, and whereas Cheltenham didn't have a midweek game and Wycombe made it count. So these things can go against, and we just have to make sure that we're on the page. Peterborough have had 2 consecutive defeats, and they're going to be looking to stop that run. They're at the right end of the table, so they have a different form of pressure. But we all know that it's momentum. Teams have sticky patches during seasons, and it looks like Peterborough are on one at the moment, and we hope it continues on Saturday as well. Their fans are demanding. They want to get them in the Championship. That will add pressure as well. So, like every week we say on Wanderers TV on the commentary, first goal and the start of the game will be absolutely vital. If Wycombe can get ahead, then I fully expect the Peterborough fans to put pressure on their own side, and we'd love to hear that, wouldn't we?
Absolutely, and it'd be great for fans to see perhaps some of the new arrivals as well.
Yeah, a chance for first chance to see some of those new faces at Adams Park. I thought Matt Butcher on Saturday was excellent in the middle there. He kind of gave us a real good indication of what we can expect from him. The cameo from Berily Labala. We saw what he was about when he was playing for Burton. Not just a goal, but just a work rate. He's a real pest. So to see him in the quarters was great on Saturday, and it was a good start from him too. So there's some good headaches for the manager now. There's a bit more depth in squad and fitness availability, etc. So some tough choices to make, but they're good choices, aren't they?
Absolutely, and hopefully great atmosphere as well. I mean, we've talked over the weeks, haven't we, about the fan discontent, and there's been sort of booing, and it just feels like not as much perhaps support, if that's the right word, but it'd be fantastic for the supporters to get behind the manager and and the players, obviously.
Look, wins is the best medicine in football. We all know that. So a couple of wins last week, one in the cup, one in the league. Like I said earlier on, that's a good platform. If we can continue to build on that, then yes, I think the atmosphere will turn too, and the fans will come on board with that. Look, Peterborough at any point of the season is always a tasty fixture. We've had some good fun with them down the years, haven't we? And no doubt this will be another chapter in that. So look, this is a great opportunity. Like I said, Peterborough at the right end of the table. It's a great opportunity to get in their way again on Saturday. And look, we need the points too. And, it would be wonderful to go into that cup semi-final with a real skip in our steps after having some good results in the league. And then, like I said, so we can enjoy that trip to Bradford.
And I think as well, you feel especially pleased for the manager, don't you? Especially after, seeing that chat you did with him and Pete on deadline day, and just to know that he's got that backing, and obviously that he is a young manager, and, that he's working so hard to achieve great things.
Absolutely. And you've only got to say wind the clock back. It's quite a long way to wind it back because Gareth was here for so long. But, he had a tough start in managerial. A lot of managers do. And, there was discontent for Gareth Ainsworth at times during his spell with us, especially at the start. And then it's really refreshing to hear the Guig saying, they're in it together. They stand with them. Everyone's working together. And it was good to see that last week, and it's been well received by the fans as well. And it's all about results, so it's now about converting those into results. And I can say there's no one working harder in football than Matt Bloomfield and Pete Guig and Rob Guig. They know what they need to do, And we've got 11 weeks now to see where it takes us.
Real pleasure to speak to you. Enjoy the game on Saturday.
Cheers, Colin.
Will be a very interesting 11 weeks, and you can hear Phil describing the game against Peterborough on Saturday. You also may have heard him doing Ringing the Blues either live on the radio or indeed on the podcast. You might have caught up at a later date. The former Wycombe Wanderers employee and current German comedy ambassador Henning Wehn was on, and also Luke Leahy.
We were ruthless, attacking sort of wise with the boys up the top of the field, and we were ruthless in our defending as well. So that cushion was nice, and even if they chucked everything at us and we sort of dealt with it. Every ball was into our box, and Jack and Joe, it's been well covered the last few days how well they did on Saturday, and it was a massive sort of shift from everyone.
And Jack's obviously been working on that goal in training for weeks, right?
Yeah, he has, to be fair. We worked on that quite a lot, putting it in that area of his leg.
It's a great finish. Obviously the defensive partnership has been well documented. I think EFL Team of the Week, League One Team of the Week.
Yeah.
I think what's gone under the radar a bit is just how good Gareth McCleary's goal was.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It was quite a weird goal because it was downhill as well. I know that doesn't probably mean a lot to the view, but it was a massive hill on Saturday. And the ball just sort of fell to him, and all Vokes had to do with, I know it sounds easy that it looked, but just touch around the corner because G's pace is still frightening at the age he is. So to do that and then to get composure and finish it off, and it was sort of a relief then when that goal went in, because we had the two goal cushion going into half time, and it's a position that we haven't really found ourselves in a lot this season, with a 2 goal cushion. So it was nice, and it was sort of a real away performance that we deserved.
We've got to talk about the penalties, because G-Mac was on the penalties on Saturday because you had your one saved in the game before.
Yeah.
But Freddie Potts, full credit, because he was
Absolutely.
quickest to react by some margin.
Yeah, where was he last week when I missed my penalty? That was my argument. Brilliant from Fred. This is the thing with penalties. It's such a lottery. Sometimes it's a great save, sometimes it's a bad penalty, but it's having the bottle to go up and help the team and try and score the penalty. So no, nothing against G. I've missed 2 now this season, and it's a pressure moment that we all want to be involved in, and fair play to Freddie, because that 3rd goal was massive considering how the second half went.
I'm interested in the terminology here, because both your penalties were on target. The keeper had to save them, but you're calling them misses.
Yeah, to me they are. It's just it works so hard to score a penalty. I take so many in training, and then for them to miss or for the keeper to save it, it's like, well, that wasn't meant to happen. You know what I mean? But all 3 penalties are on target, so there's just some good saves that the keeper's got to make. And but listen, I think if we get another penalty, then it's all for grabs now.
Great to hear from Luke on the Ringing the Blues on Tuesday, and you can get more on that from wherever you get your podcast from on Ringing the Blues.
Celebration, that podcast.
Oh, I see. I thought we were at some slot machines.
No.
Really great to have that insight, because there's a brilliant Ask Luke feature as well, where he gives brilliant insight as to what the players do when they're not playing and what it's like to travel and stuff like that. And also he spoke there really well about Gareth McCleary's pace, and you've had experience of that in the training ground yourself.
Last week, Friday, so it'd been tomorrow last week, they were out training, getting some filming of that before they went up to Cheltenham, or over to Cheltenham, and they were doing basically what happens with Gareth's scores, and it meant that Gareth McCleary was running straight at me, which I can tell you, he moves quickly.
Talking of moving quickly, sort of, and
nice. I know you're going with this.
Super tenuous.
Yeah.
All sorts of deals being done, perhaps, on transfer deadline day. You went with us on the show last week, but give us a bit of insight into what you were doing.
What would you like to know?
Well, just behind the scenes. What was it like? You can imagine people had, I guess, multiple phones ringing and managers doing deals and buy high, sell low, other way around. And obviously, we now know afterwards that we were awaiting the arrival of Nigel and who else? There was someone else.
Was Matt Butcher deadline day as well?
No, he was the day before, wasn't he? He was revealed on the Wednesday night game.
I mean, everyone makes, and I think Sky mainly are down to this. They make it sound like it's really dramatic because you've got the countdown to it's like, it's 5 minutes left. But Phil mentioned it in the interview with Matt Bloomfield and Pete Coohig, which if you haven't seen yet, you should check out, because I don't think a manager and one of his directors have ever sat down with the director talking about his future. Saxon, it was Saxon, well done. His future while he sat next to him, and it was a great insight. But there is a lot of waiting around, because while the players are doing medicals, you're sort of just sat there going, we'll wait here because we can't do anything, because if he doesn't, pass it, then we've got a problem. So yeah, there was lots of moments where there was a slower pace, but also moments where there was like fast pace. We'll get this all done. Tom Holder, Pete Coohig, and Matt Bloomfield, and the whole team, really put in the effort to get players, and obviously it was all changing at certain points. So yeah, the whole backroom staff did an excellent job, and it was really interesting to actually just watch it all happen and watch the cogs turn.
Well done, everyone.
I did some editing as well. That was basically my...
Well, their cogs turning as well. That's quite old-fashioned. That sounds...
it's just a clock moving. But yeah, it was just really interesting to be there.
No, absolutely. More from Luke throughout the show. More from me throughout the show. That's what makes the show, really, doesn't it? Without any of that, there'd just be...
silence.
Just playing out clips of people. In fact, more of that on the way shortly here at Wycombe Sound.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Second part of this week's Wycombe Wanderers Show still to come in what's left of the hour. We'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield. We'll also catch up with Craig from Wycombe Wanderers Women to find out what the latest goings-ons there are. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Yeah. And also, we'll be giving you some details of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy semi-final. It's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting. It's very exciting.
The last four of a cup competition. And possibly the return of the notice board section as well.
If we have time.
Yes.
If we have time, yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be more of a pin board.
Just throw some things at you. You had a good press session yesterday.
Thank you.
Should we hear what Matt Bloomfield and Matt Cecil had to hear about one of your questions?
Yes, absolutely. This was the reaction.
That was fantastic.
That was fantastic, wasn't it? I didn't see it coming. You got me, mate. Very clever.
So find out.
I don't think did he mention your name in that? Did he say Colin? Because if not,
so.
I'm just going to use it. I'm just going to take it as mine.
Oh, I see.
Shall we hang on? Let's have
That was fantastic.
That was fantastic, wasn't it? I didn't see it coming. You got me, mate. Very clever.
No, anyone could use it.
Perfect, amazing. Thank you very much.
Have that as yours. Yeah. With thanks to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, very pleased to this week have caught up with Craig Mackail Smith, who not only as a former striker who starred for both Wycombe and Peterborough, who are the visitors to Adams Park this week, but by some strange coincidence, will also be a guest in the Legends Lounge. And as you can imagine, he's very much looking forward to it.
It's going to be lovely to come back. I've only been popped back maybe once or twice since I've kind of left. But it's soon. I'm looking forward to it. And obviously, all my family are going to come as well. And obviously, there's a bit of, it's going to be an interesting day. Obviously, two teams that I've played for. So you just have to be very, very neutral.
I was going to say, do you have sort of split? Because I guess if you've been at different clubs, obviously you'll support them all, but when they're playing each other, it must be a bit tricky.
Yeah, obviously I had great times at Peterborough and Wycombe, so I have real fond memories. So it's kind of it's nice because I have no allegiances to the club, so I was just going to come as a neutral and just enjoy the day, and so enjoying my family coming back and enjoying being at Wycombe.
No, which is your favourite? No, that's a joke. You know.
I was very lucky to play for both and have a successful time at both. And obviously, I know lots of people at both clubs still, so it's just been an enjoyable day for me and my family to watch the game.
You can't lose, really, can you?
No. I'm just looking forward to a good game. Obviously, I was at the Wycombe Peterborough game at Peterborough, and it was a fantastic game there. Both teams performed really well and it was enjoyable, so hopefully it'll be exactly the same when we come on Saturday.
You've picked a really good time, obviously, because Peterborough are doing so well with apart from the other night, but also Wycombe seem to be on the up and really coming out of this kind of slump, really in results certainly, if not performances. Yeah,
no, I think both teams have been doing pretty well. I think I'd say the game they both played early on in the season was a great game. It was contested by two fantastic teams. You say Peterborough have been on a great run, and Wycombe have started to find their feet. So it'll be very interesting to see how they both cope with the occasion.
Do you watch football quite well, or is it quite hard as someone who's not that long ago and start playing?
I still watch it now and then. I'm trying to kind of get around the grounds and go and see different games. I'm doing lots of different things, so it pays to watch football because kind of what I want to do in the future has kind of relevance to football.
No, absolutely. And do you got to keep an eye out, especially on players who are in your position, especially?
Yeah. That's what I look out for. Like I enjoy watching the whole game, but obviously I love watching strikers. I love watching like what they're about. Like obviously when they're in form, when they're not in form. I love to kind of look at how I could help strikers with what they're with kind of maybe getting that 1% out of them.
It must be really nice as well with coming up on Saturday and watching. Hopefully there'll be goals for you to enjoy there as well. But it must bring back some great memories of goals that you'd have scored at that ground too. Yeah, 100%. I scored some great goals there, and I had some fantastic nights. So I'm really kind of I'd say I've kept in contact with a few people. I still speak to Matt Bloomfield. I went in the other day and saw him. So it'd be just nice to go back, see some old faces, and say hopefully enjoy a game full of goals and excitement. And just to give it extra pride in a way, because you were part of that team that helped win automatic promotion, and to see the team still in League One and obviously slightly higher as well comparatively recently as well. Yeah, no, it's been a great journey to watch the club and have been involved in the club. Obviously, when we came in, it was the club was kind of in a tough position, and to see kind of the progression that it's had over the years, obviously to be in the Championship and then kind of drop down into League One and be consistently performing well in League One, it's great to see. Because football's strange, isn't it? You think, we're going through this period where things aren't very good, and then you think, hello, everything's excellent again now, and then things are going really well, and you think, well, what was so bad before? Yeah, it's a very strange game. It comes in waves, doesn't it? You go through a bad time, and then all of a sudden you put a team together and you go through some good times. So it's always kind of trying to be level-headed in football because it changes so fast. There's never a point when it's just like doom and gloom, and there's never a point when it's just all amazing. It's like you just have to flow with what happens and how it goes, especially as a supporter. Did you find that as a striker as well? Because there must have been great pressure on you to obviously get goals. I own to the fact that I think that's probably on your job description. That's probably quite near the top. But there must be periods where you thought, well, I'm not scoring. How come I'm not? Yeah, definitely. I think you always have that as a striker. There's points when you're everything you hit is going in, and it's like, oh god, like this is amazing, and I hope this never stops. And then all of a sudden you hit a patch where you maybe not scoring 1 or 2 games, and then that's when like you need someone around you who's got experience and who's got a bit of know-how to help you kind of get through those little periods and get out the other side quicker. I was going to say that must be great that you noticed towards the end of your time at Wycombe as well, to be able to offer help and guidance to younger players coming through as well after what you've been through. Yeah, definitely. That's kind of part of the stuff that I do now. I've been doing a bit of mentoring with some players, and I'm doing striker coaching. So that's kind of like where I want to be, where I want to get into, helping kind of maybe younger players get better and hone their skills, and also I want to work with kind of the pros, like from where I've been, because I feel like I have a real good knowledge of the game, and that's kind of something I want to give back and say help the pros kind of find that 1% to get better. You must be especially pleased for Matt as well to be manager as a former teammate as well. Yeah, it's lovely. You knew he was going to be destined for management, like as a player, as a captain, as a person. You knew that's kind of like the where he'd go, and obviously he's taken it to it really well. I popped in and saw him the other day because I wanted to see the training sessions and just pick his brain about the striker coaching and whether that was something that he'd be interested in. But he's taken it in his stride. I didn't realise, and maybe he didn't realise kind of how chaotic it is, because when I was in with him, there was just so many different things that were happening. And as a player, you never get to see that side of a manager. You only ever see like them turn up and deliver a session. So it was very eye-opening to be on the other side with him. Really nice for you now as well that you can concentrate on sort of what's to come, because I know when we last spoke to you, you'd had a bit of an unfortunate experience with a lot of water. Yeah. I've only just got that resolved. That's taken 3 years to get sorted. So that was a real it was hard to deal with mentally, and I think that put a kind of what life was going to be like on a bit of a back burner. But now that's kind of sorted. I'm really kind of pushing forward now with this striker coaching. I'm starting getting in contact with clubs and players, and hopefully I can start getting people on board and utilising my past experiences. That must be so exciting as well, especially working with youngsters and seeing them develop and showing them, kind of great technique and things like that. Yeah,
it's different, and it's a little bit difficult because I'm having to kind of break it down. So I'm having to relearn everything myself, really, of like how the movement is initiated, and obviously how it goes, and like how to get to the end product of the goal. So it's been good for me. It's been an eye opener to learn how to do that on that side. So and say working with pros, and it's more about the finer detail. So it's exciting. As I said, I'm starting to put it out there. I'm working with younger players now, and obviously I want to try and get some professionals on board and hopefully help them.
Have you coped well, if that's the right expression, with not playing? Obviously, it sounds like you've had other distractions to kind of deal with as well. But has it been quite a straightforward process to stop?
Not really. I've found it a bit more difficult. I think I've been in it for so long, and it was just kind of like it become me. It become my persona. It become my identity. And I think you have so much structure, and you have so much kind of organisation that's done for you. It's a given. And then when you come out, all of that structure, all of that kind of support network, it kind of disappears, and then you have to learn to kind of stand on your own 2 feet. And find your way. So it has been a little bit difficult, and I have felt a little bit lost a few times, but I feel like with the striker stuff, I'm starting to find my feet, starting to find my niche, and I just need to be a bit more proactive with like social media and getting people to see what I'm actually doing, and then hopefully it will take off from there.
And weekends must be very different for you as well.
Yeah, it's more time now with the kids, which is great because they kind of had to put up with me travelling everywhere and coming to games. So I try and get to games here and there, but I spend time with my kids trying to do their kind of activities that they enjoy. And
your wife must be so pleased to see more of you as well.
No, she wants me out of the house. So she's had enough of me already. There's been enough time together, so she wants me to get out and get doing stuff. So then she's got her time again. So she's trying to kick me out.
I'm sure many people listening can relate.
Yeah.
And just going back to Saturday, it'll be really exciting for you, I guess, to kind of be able to reflect on your time at both clubs and enjoy, to see what they're doing currently.
Yeah. It's going to be a wonderful day. As I say, I was very lucky to play for both teams and have success at both teams. And so there's wonderful people at both clubs still. So it'd just be an enjoyable day. So it'd be nice to bring my family back. I think my 2 oldest were quite young when I was at Wycombe, so it'd be nice for them to go back and see it and experience the game.
I know when we spoke to you before, we've asked, but are there kind of particular games or particular goals or occasions that really stand out from your time at the club?
I think there's quite a few games that we were in the season we got promoted from League 2 was like the comeback games. So I think Carlisle at home. I think there was like Crewe away. I think then there was a game in League 1 when we beat Scunthorpe when we were down to 10 men, 2-1. So there has been some wonderful times throughout my time at that club.
And I'm sure it's the same with other teams you've been to as well. But the camaraderie and the dressing room atmosphere and the kind of bond and the experience that you will go through, it felt so special. With that particular group as well. Oh
yeah, definitely. I think when I came in, we were written off. We were too old. We were we had inexperienced younger players. Everyone just kind of writ us off. I think expected us to get relegated, and then to achieve what the club did in that 3-year period was testament to the coaching staff, was testament to all the players there that believed in the team and believed that they could achieve something special.
And a great advert for kind of hard work and that brilliant ethic that what you can achieve in sort of sport, obviously, and in football and at any level.
100%. I think it showed that when you set a bar and you don't let people drop below it, great. And we all believe in a kind of unified goal. Then anything can happen.
It's such a great message, isn't it? Because I know as fans you can get very kind of bogged down, can't you, in the way things are now. But it all seems so cyclical, doesn't it? And it's all going to kind of turn around, and there'll be good times just around the corner.
Yeah, it's difficult. It is very difficult as a fan, and football moves so fast, and it's kind of like, and it's the same as a player. You don't appreciate what you've done in that moment in time. You don't appreciate how far you've travelled and what you've achieved. It's always on to the next season and on to the next season, and I think that's where sometimes fans lose sight of the journey that Wycombe have been on over the last kind of 3, 5, 6, 7 years has been a monumental one. And sometimes there are down times, and I think you just got to take that with a pinch of salt. You just got to take that as kind of a bit of breathing space, and then the club will go again.
I know you're quite looking forward to this next sort of phase in your career and your life as well, using the experience that you have had in this coaching capacity. Yeah,
definitely. I'm excited. It was tough to say when I came out, because all I've ever known is football, and it's kind of like, what do you replace it with? And now I've spent more time doing the striker stuff. It's hopefully, as I said, I can put some more together and start kind of working with pros and semi-pros and keep working with the young kids and hopefully kind of help guide them to reach their potential.
Well, hopefully you'll have lots of examples of goals on Saturday to use in your coaching as well.
Well, yeah, hopefully there'll be a real good, entertaining game. That's all I'm hoping for.
Well, it's been a real pleasure to speak to you, and enjoy your day on Saturday.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Brilliant catching up with Craig Mackail Smith, and he'll be, as you say, at the Legends Lounge on Saturday.
He will. Looking forward to it. I would imagine tickets are still available for all the Legends Lounge as well. So if you've listened to that and gone, I'd like some food, some drink, some football, and Craig Mackail Smith and Phil, then definitely go and find some more details on the Wycombe Wanderers website.
What an incredible combination.
It's a good combination, isn't it?
I also hear former guest Mark West will be appearing as well.
He is at the Oxford game, ? I think.
It's very high.
Yeah, it was quite high.
No, I think that is correct.
Thank you. Good, I'm glad I got that right.
And Andy Ramble may be putting in a performance as well.
Possibly, I don't know about him.
Possibly Barnsley, I believe.
Okay, thank you very much.
Asterisk TBC.
Nice. Look at us.
They're excellent to have had these players on, and then can be at the ground as well.
Yeah, and it's always really nice, especially with people like Craig, and I'm sure we'll see it on Saturday, is that the friendship that they have still with Matt Bloomfield, or Blooms as they were to him, Gaffer to everybody else, and yeah, it's always very nice, and it's always nice for them to see how the club has gone from where they were and to where it is now.
And the affinity with the club as well. I know, like certain people have perhaps gone back to school after they've left, or gone back to other, I don't think many people go back to other workplaces when they've left, but it's fantastic.
Gone to painting.
or go to hotels when they've been before, or something. It's got a bit weird. But it's really nice that, they hold the club in such high esteem and want to come back.
Yeah, exactly. And, we always talk about it's like a big family. And it really is. And it doesn't matter if you're a player now or 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago plus, you're always part of the family.
Some family gatherings not quite so successful, but that's another.
We ain't got time for those.
Another story entirely.
No.
In a notice board section, some ticket detail and some date detail confirmation about the Bristol Street Motors semi-final, which we had this week.
One game from Wembley. It's very exciting, isn't it? Semi-final of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, which I called the Bristol Rovers Motors Trophy last week.
Did you?
I did. Yeah. Luckily, I heard it before it went out. Bradford City is the host, and who we're playing. It's on Wednesday, the 21st of February. Kick-off, thanks Sky, is at 8:00 in the evening. Tickets for season ticket holders is open right now. The rest of us can get tickets on the 10th of February, which is Saturday at 12:00. I would imagine you'll be able to buy them in reception as well on Saturday. But yeah, very exciting, and hopefully not confirmed yet, but the club are doing everything they can to open Adams Park to enable fans who can't travel north at 8:00 in the evening to watch it together at Adams Park as well. So keep an eye out for more details on that. But it's exciting.
Absolutely, yes. The kick-off time throughout the competition has been 7:00 and now 8:00.
Thanks, Guy. And we could be facing Peterborough again.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a small world.
I know.
Funny how things sort of come.
We've had Bradford already this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, it is a small world.
In
fact, because they're teams that we've been playing recently or have coming up recently as well.
Yeah, because of Blackpool as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh. Yes, do check out the Wycombe Wanderers website for more details as well. Final part of the Wycombe Wanderers Show on the way.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Final part of this week's Wycombe Wanderers Show still to come. We'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield in a chat which was recorded yesterday. It's important to point that out because there's at least one reference which won't make sense otherwise.
It's very confusing when press day is on Wednesday because I now feel like today's Friday.
Yes.
It's very confusing.
It varies, obviously, depending on whether there's a Tuesday night game.
Yeah, it does, and it just confuses everyone. But it's good because it gives us more time to prepare this show and pre-match drills. So,
can you tell this show is more prepared this week?
Probably not.
I love the idea that, it may seem more prepared.
It might do. I mean, if it does, send us an email, twws@wycombesound.org.uk.
If it doesn't, don't.
No. Only say nice things.
Yeah, don't contact us with negative feedback. Don't want that. Nobody wants that. Also, on the show, we regularly feature Wycombe Wanderers Women, and they're down to their final 5 games of the season.
I know. Let's come around quickly. Their next game is in the quarter-final of the quarter-final fixture
of the League Cup.
Of the League Cup. It didn't say, but thank you. Bournemouth Sports is who they're playing. Yeah. After that, in the league, Ascot United on the 25th of Feb, Winchester City Flyers on the 3rd of March, and then they've got 3 games in March after that.
So not many home games, you were saying, either.
They've got 2. So Ascot and Winchester are the last home games in the league, at least.
So if you do fancy going along and backing the Chair Girls at Burnham, which I think is a catchy slogan they have.
They should use that. Okay, Craig, use that one.
then you've not got many occasions left to do it. As Luke mentioned, Bournemouth Sports, who they're playing in the Cup this coming Sunday. Coincidentally, the same team that they faced in the league last Sunday. You mentioned, Craig. Here he is. Tell us more.
This Sunday, Bournemouth Sports away. It's a massive game. I mean, we just played them a couple of days ago on Sunday and beat them 2-1 in a fantastic performance. So, which I'm sure we'll get to shortly. But yeah, to progress in this League Cup is something that not only that the gaffer wants, but the girls really want, and the hunger and the drive at the moment is there, and it's mirroring last season a little bit. We played Bournemouth Sports away at the quarter-final stage this time last year in February. So it's got a lot, and we won that one 1-0. So there's a lot of positive similarities to this run, and hopefully, if we do beat them Sunday, if we can, and if we can progress, we can make it a step further than we did last year.
Is it really positive to play these teams so closely together? Because they had the same with Eastleigh very recently as well.
Yeah, it's quite. It's not massively uncommon. We played Bournemouth twice last February, but I think we had a game or 2 in the middle. Again, the League Cup game that I talked about, and in the league, both away. So it's actually the 4th time we've gone to Bournemouth in 12 months. But, it has its pros and cons. I mean, you can learn a lot about a team, by playing them one week, and then, but they all obviously in turn learn a lot about yourselves as well. So you've got to, you can't necessarily go and do exactly the same thing the following week. And if you do, it has to be absolutely pristine. Like take Eastleigh, for example. We were very unfortunate to lose that first fixture away 2-1, and we were probably the more dominant team, particularly in the second half, and then in the home game, it was another draw, but we won on penalties. We went all the way, and to be honest, we finished that game again very strongly. So we did progress and we did improve over those 2 games against Eastleigh, and Bournemouth's the same. Bournemouth again undefeated before we played them on Sunday, Colin. So the performance was probably, I'd say, the best performance I've seen since being with the girls in the last sort of 18 months, 2 years. That second half against Bournemouth on Sunday was just absolutely top tier. And, to think we had a couple of players get injured before the game that would have started. We had 1 or 2 even away as well. So, to dig in that performance and, we went 1-0 down in 2 minutes, and I think Bournemouth probably thought, well, here we go again. This is, we beat them 3-0 in the reverse fixture in the league. Like, we're 1-0 up in 2 minutes. Here we go. Or 3-1, sorry. Apologies, 3-1 away. Bournemouth are probably thinking that's that. But, they massively underestimated us, and we came back stronger.
And great to see. I'm sure fans would have seen the interviews on social media that you did with Emma and with Julia as well. Fantastic that it means so much to the players, obviously, and whether they're experienced or whether they're new, perhaps getting their first goals for the club, it all means so much.
I mean, Emma Kern is someone that's been with Wycombe for quite some time now, and she's had a bit of a difficult season. She's been sort of moved around in a few different positions: left wing, left back, wing back, centre mid, and it's handy to have a player like her, because it means that if there is an issue or a problem, she can fit in. And she was somebody that jumped in last minute because of the injury to Maddie Armstrong before the game. I mean, and a testament to her to get player of the match. She played fantastically well. And, again, moving on to Julia as well. Julia scored her first ever goal for Wycombe since signing from Wimbledon last summer. Again, she's someone that's had a difficult time. She's even dropped into the 23s a couple of weeks ago. Last Sunday, she wasn't in the squad. And this week, she comes in and puts in a fantastic performance. And, if you've not seen her goal, please go and check out our socials, because it's all on there. It's a fantastic goal that she scored. And she's, the gaffer's seen that in her, like when he brought her in from Wimbledon. And, she's probably, to her own admission, not kind of showing that. And, this past week she's trained well. And Sunday she really showed up, and it'll be hard not to pick her next Sunday, I'm sure.
And we heard your chat on the show last week with Danny, who's a new coach, and I'm sure a fantastic addition to the setup.
I mean, it's like anything. Carl will go and he will recruit players, and he'll make sure they're the right fit for what he needs and positions of what he needs, and that's the same with coaching. He's brought in Danny, whose full-time job is a coach, does a lot of coaching with QPR and QPR's development squads and their sort of unders and their younger players. And he used to work in women's football, and he's decided to come back. And since he's come in, a number of the girls and both Emma and Julia spoke highly of Danny in my interviews with them after the game on Sunday. And the performance he's put in, and the way that he's turned the girls, pushed them on a bit. I think Kearney said it well. Like they've pushed them on another level. And I came into the team in and around the team a couple of years ago, and so Carl had only just come in as well. But I just see that constant level. So for me to see someone else come in just from like sort of on the outskirts of the team, see Danny come in, I've seen firsthand now how these girls have upped and how they've just improved in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like it's only a short amount of time, and they've already all improved like quite a bit. So the longer he spends with us, the more these girls are going to improve, not only as individuals but as a team. And it's an exciting time to be a Wycombe Wanderers Women fan, trust me.
No, absolutely. It feels like there's a real wave of interest, definitely, because you've got the men's team involved in a cup semi-final, and the women are involved in a League Cup quarter-final as well.
Can you imagine at the end of the season we can both take a trophy out onto that Adams Park pitch together? Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to make an image in my head there. That sounds pretty good to me if we can all make it happen.
As you say, it really feels like an exciting time for the women's team, and great that supporters are getting behind them and really kind of cheering them on literally.
Yeah, not only have we had a more of an interest of support from fans and sort of local people coming, but we've had massive interest from some sort of mascot packages that we put on now. And these mascots, they stay, they watch the games. They get a training session before the game, they get a penalty shootout at half time, and they make so much noise, Colin, in the game. Maybe there's like 10, 15 of them, and they all come, they all bring their parents, and the parents make a lot of noise, and these kids make a lot of noise. And what's only like 100 or so people can honestly sometimes sound like 400 or 500 at times. And trust me, it really spurs the girls on. So the more people we have down there, the more confidence that our players get, and the more that they're going to try, and the more effort, and the results are just going to come from that.
And I know as well, we've spoken in the past about how it's really nice where the players get involved in off-the-field activities as well. And the Green Weekend has just passed, and it was really nice to see Bobby taking part in that as well with her recipe.
Yeah, Bobby's recipe, that made it in. I think it was a curry, wasn't it, I think? Yeah, exactly. Very, very nice. Who doesn't like a good curry? So, but yeah, it was great for us to have representation in there as well as the men with David Wheeler. He's his recipes as well in the book. To have representation that from not only the club but from the women's side of it as well. That's fantastic for us and fantastic for Bobby and as our captain as well, and fantastic for us all moving forward.
Great to hear from Craig. Do keep an eye on the Wycombe Wanderers Women socials, as I believe they say, and also the website too. And as we mentioned a little earlier on, they're down to their final 5 games. We wish them all the best for their League Cup contest against Bournemouth Sports on Sunday as well. You might have heard earlier on in the week as well, the club sharing the devastating news, the tragic death of 17-year-old season ticket holder Adam Ankers. He was taken ill last week whilst playing for Wycombe Wanderers Foundation's under-19s team, which are in partnership with Henley College. He passed away in hospital on Monday. Adam was a student at the college, an aspiring footballer and an avid supporter of the Chairboys as well. He attended each home game on the terrace with his dad, his brother and his sister, and we started the press session with the manager yesterday to pay tribute and share the club's condolences from Matt Bloomfield.
Absolutely, we were all devastated to hear when we were told the news. To lose someone who means so much to the club, who the club meant so much to at such a young age is obviously devastating. Our condolences go to the family, because the loss they must be suffering right now must be huge. So we're really, really thinking of them at this moment, mate.
And just goes to show how important things are in perspective, and also how well the club kind of comes together and can support, someone who's not just a fan, a season ticket holder, but, a player for their foundation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, it puts things into perspective. Family and life is much greater than football, but, he spent his life doing something that he loved, playing football for the foundation, supporting his team. And if that can give the family a crumb of comfort in such a horrible moment, then we hope that they can, because this football club means a great deal to a lot of people. So if we can all come together and try and find some strength together in these kind of moments, then I hope that can give them a real small crumb of comfort in what must be a real terrible time for them.
A really nice opportunity on Saturday for as many people to come and obviously back the club, but also show their appreciation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 2 home games the next 2 Saturdays, and I hope that, his teammates, his family, his friends can join us at some point, because, the football club does give an opportunity for, a football family to come together and mourn when it's necessary and get together when it's necessary and get strength from each other. So I really hope that they can find a little bit of strength amongst like-minded people, and I hope as a football club that we can make sure we conduct ourselves in the right way, because these are really, really important moments for their family.
And just moving on to on the pitch matters, does it feel like, it feels in a way, doesn't it, a bit like, sort of coming through a harsh winter and signs of spring, I guess for yourself as well, things feel like they're improving, especially with, the dealings that you've done in the transfer window, and obviously you've not been well yourself and now feeling better, and, you've got those 2 wins both in the cup and in the league. It must have been great to be on the training ground this week and working with some new players, but also, moving forward with what you've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you summed it up really nicely, Colin. I think that, we've had some testing moments, and I'm sure that, over the next 11 weeks, there'll be some more ahead, because that's the game, it's the sport, and you have to ride those moments when they come along. But we're certainly full of optimism for the future. We're full of optimism for the spring ahead of us. The boys are in a good spot. We've been going through all the data. We've been going through our performances recently. We're in a good spot. We're really pleased with some of the football we're playing. We obviously want to improve. We still want to get better, and there's loads for us to get better at. But we're pleased with the January signings we've made. We're pleased with the strength of the squad, and we're just eager to get on with these games.
It does feel like there have been, so many positives in what appears to some, I think, to quite a sort of bleak time. It's really interesting hearing that chat that you and Pete did with Phil, that, just in these last 8 games, only 1 defeat, and many of the games have been very close as well. Yeah,
I mean, people know that I do look into the data. We've looked at the data again yesterday. We've done a performance review of where we're at in terms of the season, and the top 3 KPIs that indicate where you'll finish in the table. We're 5th and 7th. So we know that over the course of the season, that our performance levels have been to a level that we could have picked up more results. We're really pleased with the work some of the works that's been done. We know we've got to improve in loads of areas. No, there's no getting away from that. But, there's loads of optimistic signs. We've just got to make sure that we translate those into results, because that's the thing that we get judged on, and that's the thing that the perception over our season is on the results. So it's up to us to make sure that, those results go in our favour. But we're really pleased with where we're at right now. We've got 3 really good games to look forward to next week, starting with Peterborough on Saturday. And we want to start and we want to be on the front foot, mate. We want to attack. We want to make sure that we're showing ourselves in our best light, because we've got huge belief inside this building, and we have to keep going out and proving it.
And fans would have noticed that Pete has a new title of sporting director. Is that something that means any sort of change in terms of your relationship? Does that benefit you in any way, or is that just something a bit different for him?
No, I think Pete's always sort of acted in that role anyway. I think that, Pete's a massive person within this football club in terms of his dealings behind the scenes, in terms of the way he helps translate from, across the pond with Rob travelling backwards and forwards and Pete travelling backwards and forwards, and making sure he's always here to support and offer that experience of the time that he's been over and across. So, I don't think that anything's changed in that regard. He was huge for me last week in terms of helping to execute the transfer window, and I thank him for his support. You can always hear Pete. You can always know when he's around. He's a massive character and a massive energy and influence for us. So it's great to have him here when we do.
Another fantastic positive, I noticed that the Football League paper had Jack Grimmer amongst their team of the week, and I was speaking to a fan this week a proper one, who was saying that, since you've been in charge, how they noticed how, Jack's game's really developed and how he's come on as a player. And obviously he's been captain quite a few times as well. That must be so pleasing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Jack's someone who we think extremely highly of. We think when you're building a team and a club and a squad, you need, you need an amount of leaders within it. And Jack's certainly one of those. He conducts himself extremely well every single day of the week, whether he's in the team, out of the team. He's one of those guys that come match day, you wouldn't know whether he's starting or not starting, the way he conducts himself and the way he supports the group. And that's the thing that I have hold him in such high regard for, because he's so consistent with his behaviour and his training. He's a real reliable, solid character on and off the pitch, and he's been a big player for us recently. Slotted in at centre-back last week, got his goal, and I think that he's a massive player for us. So I'm really pleased with the work he's doing, and there's plenty more that are following suit as well.
Well, you mentioned Saturday, a great opportunity for people to come and show their support. Should be a great game as well with Peterborough visiting, who are obviously in great form, and they've got a young, exciting team who are doing really well, and a great opportunity to test your side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're Peterborough are a very, very good team, both on the eye and also with the data as well. We know that they've got some real good young players, loads of pace about them, loads of 1v1 brilliance, loads of trickery and creativity. So we know that we're going to have to be defensively very, very sound. We're going to have to work really hard on our shape and in transitional moments. But we also believe in the way that we've been playing recently, the way we've been able to get our wide players in the game and create chances for Vokesy and Dalo arriving in the box. We believe that we've added some goals to our squad in January, and we're looking forward to taking them on and having a real good game with them, because we believe in what we're doing and we're looking forward to the game, mate.
And also, it's I noticed on the table, not far away from that 40 points now, which I know is in the Premier League is sort of seeing some sort of magical survival target. But I guess that's quite different in League One due to is that something you look at, sort of a points tally, and to see kind of where you are at certain stages of the season?
Yeah, I think you're always kind of aware of, the roundabout number that it takes for automatic promotion, playoff numbers and relegation. There's always usually around the same sort of figures each season. So you know where you're at, you know where you want to get to, but equally, in the interim period, you have to concentrate on every individual result and try and take a bigger scope over it every now and again. So we know where we're at, mate. We know what work we've got to do. We know where we want to get to. I want to finish the season really, really strongly. There's only 11 weeks, but there's 17 league games and one cup game, which we hope to turn into 2. So there's loads of football to go around with the squad, and whatever team we put out each game, we have to make sure we're ready. We believe we can pick up some real good results between now and the end of the season, and we have to prove that.
And 40, of course, quite a significant milestone, not just for football teams either.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I know what you're getting at, mate. It's a big day tomorrow. I've got a birthday, a bit of a milestone to look forward to. So a few more grey hairs coming through, but really looking forward to spending the day at home with my wife and my girls.
I wish you a very happy birthday for that. I hate to suggest that whole points question was building up to that bit, but it was a very happy birthday. I'm sorry that I can't be there to bring you brownies myself.
You're very kind. Thank you, Colin. Take care, mate.
You too. Real pleasure. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, mate.
Great chatting to Matt. Should we explain the brownies reference as well? Because people might not have heard that before.
Oh, yeah, you brought brownies in.
I did, because there was one occasion when he started, he was presented with, was that brownies?
That was brownies as well, yeah.
So, and then he was presented with something else, wasn't it? A team sheet.
And then it was just us.
and we felt to keep it going, we should present him with brownies as well. So it was funny if you had to be there as well. But yes, shortly after that chat, Matt Sassel, who is the head of media at the club, you might well be aware, gave this response.
Oh, that was fantastic.
That was fantastic, wasn't it? I didn't see it coming. You got me, mate. Very clever.
Well done. It was very good. Everyone in the room was like, that's very
nice.
impressive.
Planned it. Well, I thought it's a bit of a handbrake turn to go, oh, there's a game
It's
on
your
Saturday.
birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
So, yes, today, Matt Bloomfield, 40.
I'm sure he's listening. Happy birthday.
Probably isn't.
Should we give him does he want the bagpipes? No?
Yes, that's a traditional birthday thing now, isn't it?
I'm not playing them again. Sorry, Jack.
That was a Jack Grimmer reference as well, if you missed that the other week. Some news just in as well, that we could soon be seeing sin bins in the professional football game. The sports law-making body IFAB is publishing details of the new trials tomorrow. Blue cards could be issued to players who have to leave the field for 10 minutes for dissent or cynical fouls. Oh, not those cynical ones. As part of these new proposals. Similar trials have already taken place in the amateur and youth game in England and Wales.
Look, if it means that Josh Scowen doesn't get a lot of yellow cards, I'm in for it.
Blue cards, that's what
Why blue?
Don't know, they'll be like...
Red, yellow, and they went blue. Why about orange?
Well, there'll be shades of blue as well, like navy and sky.
It should have been orange because it's traffic lights.
At Wycombe home games, they'll have different...
It's quarters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That'd be ideal. Thanks so much for listening this week. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I think it's better than last week, actually.
I liked it, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It'll be available on a podcast probably from tomorrow.
Yeah. Come on, you Blues.
Up for the week. Do people still say that?
No, I don't know.